About to do a comedy competition, but we're gonna start with some comedy first. So, get ready. Woo, we did it, we're here. Hell yeah, it was a lot dimmer last time. It's nice to get to see everyone's faces. That's cool. Actually, it's really weird. I don't know actually how I feel about that. I'm not in the competition, so I can kind of just ramble for a minute, you know. I don't have to get to the point. You know, I don't have to be funny at all, really. I could just sit here for 10 minutes and make everyone really upset. Wouldn't that be the best time? Yeah, who's about it? Look at that. Oh, I got 2 claps, so far, you know. All right, let's not get too out of hand. I hit a deer recently, so I'm going through some struggles. I hit a deer. So now I have this new fear I just discovered I didn't know you could have, and that's a fear of more deer, you know, coming out, running into another deer, right? Seeking revenge, you know, they're out there, they're gonna come out and get me now, I'm terrified. But I really am, now I'm driving on the roads very scared. It's a very bad time. But I told my girlfriend about it, and she said, oh, but the deer's probably fine. And for some reason, I got offended when she said that. I don't know why, but I was like, you don't think I know how to hit a deer? All right? I killed that deer, all right? I know how to hit a deer. That deer is fucking confetti. That's the word I'm looking for, confetti. All right, I put the venison and vanished into thin air. All right, that deer's gone. I don't know why I was so offended, but I was very upset, excuse me. And I think it's because, like, I am a good driver. Like, I'm pretty good. I mean, the other day I did blow a stop sign, right? I mean, technically he was a crossing guard, right? But, you know, he had a degradation kink. He's like, call me an object. I was like, all right, fine. Still got a ticket for that, though. Can you believe that? Still got a ticket. Can't do that in a school zone. They're not a fan. They don't like that, right? They're not a fan of that. And I mean, I was slipping all over his icy bridge, you know what I'm saying? Slippery when wet, you know, thickly settled, you know? Sorry, I'm just shouting street signs at you. It's getting silly. I just discovered this thickly settled sign. I think that's a regional thing. I'm not from here, but I just saw it recently. Does anyone know what thickly settled means? It literally means just all the houses are just really close together. Like, what kind of warning is that? Isn't that what signs are for? Like a warning? Why am I being told that? Oh, everyone in this neighborhood made really bad financial decisions, you know? Like, why is that? I don't get, what are you warning me for? Everyone's, you know, you got a bunch of Wilsons in the neighborhood. Anyone home improvement? You know, I don't know. Just a lot of, just very silly. I don't get it. Just a weird, what was I saying? I blew a stop sign. A lot easier than anal with a traffic cone, am I right? Like, I don't know. Also probably a euphemism, you guys, calm down. I'm not. I was seeing this blind girl for about a year. No pun intended, calm down. I was seeing her for about a year, but she thought it was like 5 or 6 different times because she'd break up with me and then I'd come back with a different voice, you know? So, but that was pretty cool. But by the 6th time, I had to break up with her because at that point she had seen, what, like 6 different people in a year? Like, what a Jezebel. I'm not going to keep, you know? I was faithful the whole time. She was just being a sloot. I'm not going to stick with that. Sloot. Oh, that's a fun word to say, but then when you say it out loud, it's like... We get it. I was in an adult film recently. I saw some of the looks, some of the recognizable, like, eyeballs, like, oh, I've seen him before, sir, we'll talk about it later. But, and it was cool, I'll cut to the chase, it was a good time, but I got the check and all that, and I was like, oh man, maybe we'll get a part 2, and then they just cut me off. They didn't text me back after that. You know, I got ghosted. Talk about getting your ding-dong ditched, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very upsetting, you know, but I wanted to stay in the business, right? I had my following, I wanted to stay, so I started a solo career. Now I'm sampling bath bombs while I masturbate, right? So you can find me under the terrorist, if you're curious. If you're wondering. You learn a pretty few cool terms when you're in the biz. One I learned is a pearl necklace. I'm not sure if you're aware of what that is, but it's when, like, someone kind of ejaculates onto your chest area, like in the necklace zone, and it kind of looks like a pearl necklace. But I'm telling you that because recently I read now with the power of science, we can actually turn our sperm into little pearls. Right? But you know what that means, right? It's come full circle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's finally, we've done it. We did it. But I think that's a waste, personally. Oh, thanks. I think that's a waste. Don't turn them into little pearls, right? Turn them into little marbles, right? Because then I can play with my kids. You know what I'm saying? I just have a whole separate sack of all that. Another fun thing I read was this guy, one of the guys carrying a coffin into this funeral home, as he entered the building, someone shouted, he was like, oh man, that's who died? Like they just discovered it, like it was a surprise funeral. Like that's crazy. Like imagine being in that situation, being the guy carrying like talk about being the pallbearer of bad news. You know what I'm saying? Like just, all right, it only gets worse from there, so we'll skip that one. That's not gonna be good. I learned this fun fact about Boston. I like to learn about as I move around, sort of some regional fun facts. Maybe you've heard of it. It's kind of close enough. The Great Molasses Flood. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Yeah, we got a fan. All right, that's cool. I'll tell you a quick little Spark Notes version of it, right? So what happened was, and I'm sure you can already tell by the title, The Great Molasses Flood, there was so much molasses that it flooded, and it was Boston, so the Great Boston Molasses Flood. It flooded Boston, right? So what happened was there was so much molasses that it flooded the streets of Boston, right? All right, we got that. The next thing that happened is people were, reasonably trying to get out of there, but they didn't have to run, like it wasn't a tsunami of water, they kind of jogged, they had like their French toast sticks, it was like could have been the first marathon, I don't know, but eventually it did settle, and they gathered the numbers, the casualties, there were like 10 people injured, like 3 or 4 people died, whatever, but only 4 people were molested from this. That's it. That's the bittersweet ending, you guys. Have a great night.